Mr. Sinha, really good having you. Thank you so much for joining in. You know, I've heard a couple of your conversations on ET Now, and you were referring to this possibility happening. You were talking about the RBI looking equally nimble-footed, and it's shown its hand today. Are you surprised by this out-of-the-turn rate cut?
No, as I've said all along, the RBI is a very professional and very competent institution, and they are very data-driven, and obviously they have access to and an understanding of both data as well as what's happening in a variety of markets, whether it is, bazaars in India or whether it is currency markets in Singapore. And watching all of that data and those trends, I'm sure they've picked up, in fact, that we are in a position now to see lower rates. So in that sense, I'm not surprised. I think all of us have been seeing the data moving in a certain direction.
Mr. Sinha, morning. Just going through the RBI press release, and it seems like this is not it, because the RBI is saying that once the monetary policy stance shifts, subsequent policy actions will be consistent. So should one assume that this is just the start of a rate cut trajectory?
What is very important about this rate cut, and again, this is something that many analysts have spoken about, is the fact that, we are at an inflection point in the cycle. The RBI tightened significantly when Dr. Rajan came on board and then held rates steady for quite a long period of time because it was important to gain control over inflation. The fact that they have now moved in the opposite direction would indicate that the expectation is that we are moving out of that phase and into a different phase altogether, which is why it would be an important inflection point for all of us to consider.
How does the government incorporate then, Mr. Sinha, this rate cut in the upcoming budget February end? You think will this cut sort of influence you in the decisions in budget making as well?
The rate cut, I think, signifies, a very different economic growth trajectory. We have been in an economic growth regime which was handed over to us by the UPA government of high entrenched inflation, low growth, high fiscal deficits, high current account deficits. And so really we have been in a mode where we've been trying to turn around those very negative macroeconomic indicators and position the economy for dramatic and accelerating growth. There has been that first phase where we've had to work through these challenges and problems. I think we've got a grip on those challenges, and we have now passed through that phase of consolidation and adjustment, and now we are in a phase of accelerating growth, I would say.
Just an extension of that point that you were making, and we've been chatting with people daily and asking them about, when the rate cut is going to come about. And a lot of skeptics do believe that even if there is a rate cut, that's not really going to help the investment cycle pick up. Do you feel that this perhaps could actually bring about a mood change, if nothing, and eventually, with consistent rate cuts, investment cycle as well could be kicked off?
To my mind, the rate cut at some level is a bit of a lagging indicator to the turn of the economic cycle itself. Because, as I said, we've worked through the problems that we've inherited and many of those challenges and excesses. We are in a point where the economic momentum has turned quite positive. You saw what vibrant Gujarat was like. In my own conversations with business people and investors, there's significant optimism and hope about the future. New investments are beginning. And given all of that, my sense is that the rate cut really is signaling what is already happening on the ground.
All right, that's Jayant Sinha. Well, spoke to us on the phone, speaking to Supriya Srinath right now as we speak as well.
Many people believe this is going to spur demand. This is also going to spur investments. Just let's hear the North Block perspective to begin with, sir.
Well, I think in a way what this demonstrates is how well our sort of institutions are working. What you would expect from us is really political leadership. Leadership as far as the economy is concerned, and I think we've been exemplifying that and demonstrating that through the series of actions we've taken. As I've said before multiple times, the number of reforms that we've undertaken is unprecedented in terms of the scope and the magnitude, and the cumulative impact of that is a veritable supply-side revolution in India. India because we are genuinely building the productive capacity of the Indian economy across the board. So in that sense, we've demonstrated the political leadership, and as a result of that, the RBI has taken note of that, has taken note of course, the healthy trends that we are seeing as far as disinflation is concerned, and therefore the RBI's actions are very welcome, but they also are following the lead that we are demonstrating.
Fair point. Do you believe this is the start of an interest rate cut cycle? Has the trajectory to a lower rate cut cycle begun in India with this one rate cut?
Obviously, it is going to be dependent on the data and the actions of, the various economic actors and the policy leadership that we will continue to demonstrate. So we'll have to wait and watch. But, the fact that the rate cuts have happened at this time when economic momentum is picking up and when disinflationary pressures are as strong as they are, I think are a strong indication that the economic cycle has dramatically turned, that this is an inflection point, and that what we are working towards with is dramatic and accelerating growth is starting to emerge.
So do you believe this rate cut, the quantum of the rate cut itself will be sufficient to perhaps inject the amount of liquidity and lower the cost of capital to perhaps the extent the finance ministry was hoping for?
It's a process, and we're at the beginning of that process right now in terms of both rate cuts as well as investments picking up, and of course consumer demand getting stronger as well. So really, you have to look at it in cyclical terms, and what we're seeing is the beginning of the shift in the cycle, and the cycle moving upwards in a decisive way.
Is there added pressure on the finance ministry? I know it's a wrong question to ask you, but is there added pressure on the finance ministry to perform better? Because the statement from the RBI very categorically states that the fiscal consolidation roadmap by the finance ministry has been one of the levers for this rate cut.
You have to understand, the institutions of governance in a democracy. In our democracy, what we represent as far as the political leadership is the ability of the people of India to be able to demonstrate through us as their elected representatives their desires to move decisively as far as the economy is concerned, which is what we're doing. The RBI has the mandate as a professional institution then to follow the policy indications and essentially the data that they're seeing, and that's really the way we are performing institutionally.
It's happened on a festival day for the rest of the country, Sankranti, Pongal, everything being celebrated. Is this the beginning of a virtuous cycle as far as the macroeconomic indicators are concerned?
I am in the pink, right? So I am celebrating all of that.
Thanks very much.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.